login.salesforce.com. Okay, so here you can create a free account. Some people they create it here, but the problem with this is if you go for this try for free, you'll be getting a trial period version. It is free for 1 month. After that, it will be asking you to pay the amount. Okay, so that is why please don't use this one. So just go to developer.salesforce.com. Here also you can create a developer account. Okay, so if you click on sign up, then it is asking you to fill all your details. Just give all the details and sign up here. Okay, so I'm just giving my details. So this must be a unique one. The username must be a unique one. With this you are going to log into your account. Okay, and we'll be having so many server instances like we have already seen when we are discussing in the demo session. We'll be having so many server instances, right? So I'll show you again. Right. If you go here in the status, it will be listing all the servers available in the Salesforce. Okay, so these are all the server instances of Salesforce. NS stands for North America and CS is the sandbox. So in the real time you can see the sandbox, right? And AP stands for Asia Pacific, and we also have EU, European Union. Is it not listed here? Like it is not listed here, but we'll have EU also. Okay, so depending on the zip code and the country you are giving while creating your Salesforce account, it is connecting you to the server, nearest server. Okay, so let me sign up here and let me see to which server I am going to connect here. Right, I have given my zip code here and this is United States and I'm going to connect to North American server. Just click on sign me up. Right, so here I'm going to receive an email, so just check your email. Right, so this is the email I got and just click on it. Right, so here it is asking me to create the password also, so give the password. Just give some security questions. Right, this is the Salesforce developer account I have created. Okay, so see, the application is readily available for you. You can start using your application. Right, so the Salesforce is totally dealing with the customer data. Right, so we have discussed some of the meanings in the demo session. So lead is nothing but a person who is interested in our business or who is interested in using our service. So business may be a service or selling some products. Okay, so lead is nothing but a person who is interested in our business or in using our service. Right, so from there we can convert a lead to a account to contact an opportunity. Okay, so mostly the functionality of Salesforce is surrounding on these four objects. I can't say that we don't use other objects, but the main functionality is always revolving around these four objects. Okay, so now the now the application is ready for you to use straight away. What you need to do is, if you have any, if you need any specific requirements, if you wanted to change the look and feel, if you wanted to have some custom functionality, then you need to customize your application. Okay, so if you go to the software development methodologies, we have agile process, right? So what agile process speaks is, until to wait the product completely developed, just start with the high priority items and develop the high priority items, and let the client use the application with the high priority items, so that we do not interrupt the business. The client will be starting the business straight away with the application we have given. In 1 or 2 months, we are going to build the application with the high priority items, so that the client is going to use the application straight away. Right after that, we will be taking the next high priority items. Okay. In the next high priority items, after completing the next high priority items, we will be releasing the application once again, and the same cycle will be repeating until the product is completely developed, right? So the same process most of the companies use here, but you don't require 1 or 2 months also, because the application is right away ready. You can uh, create lead records, and you can convert a lead record into account, contact, and opportunity. Okay, so you can start the basic sales, service, and marketing clouds straight away. So the campaigns is speaking about the marketing, and leads, accounts, contacts, opportunities is for sales, and cases, solutions, these are for customer service. Okay, sales cloud, marketing cloud, and service cloud. We have three different clouds. Okay, your campaigns is speaking about marketing, leads, accounts, contacts, opportunities is sales cloud, and cases and solutions are for service cloud. Okay, so the application is straight away ready to use. The client, there is no need for the client to wait anymore. So all the previous technologies, if you compare, we need to wait till we got at least the basic version of the software. But here, if you purchase the license, no more waiting. Just straight away use the application, right? So as I have given the USA address, I have connected to NA35, right? See, go to trust, you can see NA35, right? Okay, so this is NA35. So I have connected to this server instance. So if there is something going on for this server, if there is any maintenance, or if there is some problem to the server, then they will be notifying you. So I have created my developer account for free here with this server. So if there is any maintenance, they will be notifying you well in advance, so that you can have your alternates. Okay, maybe they will be, most of the times I have seen, they will be doing all the maintenance and that kind of stuff during the non-business hours. So maybe during the weekends they'll be doing that kind of stuff. Okay, see, if there is any service degradation, they will be showing your server instance with this name, with this symbol. Okay, service disruption, maintenance, and they'll be showing your server instances with these symbols. Okay, so if there is, if at any time, if you feel the response of the server is not good, then you can come and check here, right? And one more thing we need to remember, in real time we will be using two, we will be listening to two regular words. One is sandbox, one is production. So let me explain what is a production and what is a sandbox. So we'll have different kinds of sandbox. One organization can have up to 4 or 5, depending on your requirement. You can have as many sandboxes as you can. So always a developer will be developing his code in the sandbox. So the login URL for this sandbox is test.salesforce.com. We need to use this URL to log into a sandbox. Why we use sandbox? Why can't we use production directly? Because production is containing real-time data. If you are modifying something in the production, there may be some impact on somewhere. If you are doing your modification in one particular area, there may be the impact of it in another particular area. So without testing the code, without testing the functionality we developed properly, we cannot move anything directly to the production, and we cannot do any modification in the production. Okay, so that is why we always have to do all the development in the sandbox. Okay, so we need to keep in mind, for sandbox we need to use test.salesforce.com, right? So once you develop your components and after going through different cycles like testing and all, so we need to move the code to the production. So what is the URL for production? The URL for production is login.salesforce.com, right? We should not get confused. Some of the people who join, they may get confused with the both, and I have seen some people asking me what is the difference between login and test. Okay, so we should not get confused. This directly, will be caught directly immediately. Okay, so we need to keep in mind. And in any organization, after immediately joining the organization, no one gives us production access. Okay, production is very sensitive, and if something goes wrong, then the total business may be stopped. So that is why we have to always use test.salesforce.com, because when we are practicing, we always using login.salesforce.com. So if you wanted to log into your free developer account, you have to use login.salesforce.com. Okay, in the same way, after going into the real time also, people use login.salesforce.com. Okay, but we should not use it. This is for production, and test.salesforce.com is for sandbox. Okay, so this is the basic difference between production and sandbox. All right, so so this is the tab bar. Here you can see all the standard objects of Salesforce. Okay, if you click on plus, you can see all the standard objects available in the Salesforce. Okay, so object is nothing but a data table where you are going to store your data. Okay, object is nothing but a data table where we are going to store our data, right? So we can create our own objects. So whatever the objects we are creating, we are going to call them as custom object. All the standard functionality available, we'll be using the term standard. If we are creating something, that comes under custom. Okay, so we can create custom objects, right? And each object is having some fields. If you go to accounts, if you click on new, you can see a form displayed here. So all these are all nothing but fields available in the account object, right? If you wanted to see all the fields, then you can see this is a quick access menu. This is a quick access menu. If you click on it, you can see view fields. If you click on it, then it will be taking you to the all the fields of account object. So these are all the standard fields of account object. Okay, if you wanted to create any field, you can. So there is an option called new. Here you can create your own custom field. Okay, so most of the times we'll be using this is setup. Okay, here also you can see your account fields. That is a quick access menu. If you are not having that quick access menu, then you can go to account fields here. Okay, so see in the customize accounts fields, right? If you are having trouble in searching for that, just you have this quick find box. In that you can type fields, then it will be coming up. Okay, so see accounts fields, you can click on it and it will be navigating you to the account fields. So the admin is totally point and click. Okay, so we feel that it is very easy, but it is the most difficult one, because we need to know the navigation. So from where we are going where, so that is sometimes it is tough to memorize every time. So that is why we need to have lot of practice. So every day we need to practice so that we can easily grasp things. Okay, right, so let me create a new field. Right. Here I can create my new field. Right. What I wanted to know is I wanted to know the monthly income of the customer. Then it is nothing but a income is nothing but currency. So here you have to select data type. Which kind of data you are going to save in your object, in your field. So is it number, is it a string, is it currency, is it checkbox, is it pick list or email? So there are different types of data types and some description is provided here. Okay. So see here, currency allows users to enter a dollar or other currency amount and automatically formats the field as a currency amount. So if you enter some amount there, it will be showing with the dollar symbol. Okay. So that is why you have to choose your currency field here. Choose the currency field. Go next. Right. So what is the field name? I want to know the monthly income of my customer. So that I can decide whether he is going to pay the service cost for the month or not. So something like that. It may be, we don't know from which perspective the client is going to need this field, but just for the practice purposes, let us create this monthly income field. So it is asking you for the length. So how many digits you wanted to have in your currency. So 18 is enough. Okay, if you wanted to have any decimal places, you can. If you want to give some description for what I am creating this field. Okay, so if you want it, then you can give some description. This field is for uh, you know for the income of the customer. So something like that, you can give some description. So and the naming convention should always be very user friendly. On seeing the name itself, everyone who is working on this tool should be able to understand for what we have created that field. So monthly income field, it gives clear idea to everyone. So it is something like the income of the customer. Okay, so we should not give some uh, names which we cannot understand. Okay, so we should follow the naming conventions, right? So go next. And here, these are all the profiles available in the Salesforce. These are all the standard profiles. We have not created any custom profile. So we'll be dealing with profile concept in a separate class. Okay. So for now, what I am doing is I am giving access to all the profiles. Okay. So this is nothing but field level access, field level security. So establish a field level security. So what I am doing is I am giving access to all the profile users. So if you want to give only read only access to any particular profile, you can give read only. Okay, so for contract manager profile, I just wanted to give read only access. Okay, so just give read only access so that this user can see the field, but he cannot do any modifications. Okay, so depends. This comes under security. Okay, so we'll be dealing with the security separately. Nothing to worry about it right now. So go next. And these are the different layouts. Okay, layouts is also a different concept. So what I am doing here is I am adding this field to all the layouts so that I can see this field on the layout. If you don't add this field to the layout, you are just going to create a field but you cannot see it on the layout. Okay, so if you want to add this field to the layouts, you have to check these boxes and click on save. Now if you go to accounts, you can see the field you have created right now. Click on new. Right, so this is my field I have created. Okay, so this is how you can create a different kinds of fields. Right, so let me go and create some other type of field. Just click on new. Again, you can go to accounts and fields, and if you scroll down, you can see new. Right, and select the type of field you wanted to create. Now I wanted to select a pick list field. Click on next. Now, so what I do is I wanted to have a country field. Say something like the client business is expanded all over the globe, then we need to have this field. So here use global pick list value set. So we have not defined any global pick list values. So enter the values manually here. Okay, separated by a new line, right? So enter different countries. So like that. Okay, if you want to sort all the values alphabetically, you can click on this so that all the values will be sorted alphabetically. Okay, so and if you want to use the first value as the default value, yeah, we can do that. We can do that. Okay, so that is a different thing, and that can be done. So in the later classes, you are going to understand how we can do that. But in the field, when we are creating the field, we cannot do that. Okay, but definitely.
Okay.
So these are the different countries I have entered, and see here, use first value as default value. Okay, so after sorting the values in the alphabetic order, so Germany comes in the first place, right? If you click on this in your page layout, Germany will be shown by default. Okay, if the user forgot to modify that, then by default that is going to be Germany. So that is why we should not use this. Okay, if we don't check this checkbox, then none will be the default value. Okay, so yeah, go next, and I'm making it visible to all the profiles. Go next, right, save. Okay, so now if I refresh this page, then I can see one more field called country on this layout. Right, see country here. So we have not selected any default value. That is why none is here. If you select any default value, if you select the first value as the default value, it is going to be Germany all the time. Sometimes the people may forget to change it, and it is going to be Germany by default to all the records. So that is why it is not good to select a default value. Okay, so none is the default value. So this is how you can create a pick list field. So in the same way, you can create any of the field of any data type, right? So each and every data type is given here with the description. Okay, so try to create some of the fields. Okay, so see here, there is a multi-select pick list. So here in this pick list, you can select only one value, right? I cannot select multiple values. So multi-pick list is you can select multiple values. Okay, from the list we can select multiple values. Let me show you that. So for example, I'll take something here. So I want to know how many countries the customer is visited. Countries visited. Enter the values. Enter the same values or different values. Right. So sort values alphabetically. You can use it. Right. And here I forgot to tell about this. If you want to make this field as mandatory, okay, you can make it. So if you go to your account name is mandatory to create a account record. Without giving this account name, we cannot save the record. See, if you click on save without giving anything, then it is asking you to enter the value here, right? In the same way, if you wanted to make any field mandatory, when we are creating the field itself, we can make the field mandatory. So just click on this one. Now the field is displayed with the red color symbol here. See, if you go to new, see there is some red color dark line here. So the same way, the new field is going to be displayed with the red color dark line. So let me show you that. Click on next. Save. Right. If I refresh this page, I can see the new field. Countries visited. Okay. Here I can select multiple values. So India, USA. Move it to this side. Right. So this is how we can create a multi-pick list values. Okay. Right. So I made it mandatory, right? So now if I don't give any value, you can see I made it mandatory when I am creating the field. So if I click on save without giving a value here, then it is going to ask me to fill the value here. You must enter a value, right? So choose these values and click on save, right? Okay, the record is saved. Okay, right. Next. So try to practice by creating multiple fields of different data types so that you'll be coming to know how we are going to create fields and all. Okay, right. And we'll be discussing about this roll-up summary, lookup, and formula fields, and there should be one master detail also. Okay, but it is not displayed here, right? Because there is a reason for not displaying. Okay, so we'll be dealing with these fields in separate classes: lookup, roll-up summary, formula. Okay, so apart from these three, you can take any data type and create fields. Okay, so right, take phone number field or else email. Okay, so allows user to enter an email address which is validated to ensure proper format. So here we should enter a valid email address with some @ symbol. If we enter some text, it won't accept. Okay, right, let me create that email. So we need to just enter the value here. After entering the value here, if we click on tab, automatically the field name will be taken by Salesforce. Okay, just we need to enter the name here. See, I will just enter the name and just click on tab. That's it. The name will be coming here. Okay, because this should not have any spaces, right? So if you want to make it mandatory here. Make it required and click on next, next, save. Okay, now just go and refresh this page. Go to accounts. Right, email. Okay, so this is how we can create some of the fields, and in the same way we can create objects also. So I'm not fine with the objects that are readily available with the Salesforce. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to have a custom object, right? My business requirement is different and I need some more objects so that I can store some data in it. For that we can create objects. Okay, see here, if you click on place, these are all the standard objects available. So mostly we will be going to use most of the standard objects, but in some cases there may be a requirement for the client, so that we need to create a I mean a custom object. Okay, right. So let me go to setup to create object, and if you come down, there is an option called create. Go to create, and in this you can see objects. Click on objects. If you don't know that, if you feel it difficulty going for the create and clicking on object, just type object here and it will be coming. Okay, if you type object here, you can see the objects here. Just click on it, it will be taking you to this screen. So click on new custom object. What I wanted to do is I wanted to have all the pin codes of United States in a particular object. Okay, so for that I am going to create a pin code object, or else as we call it as zip code here, zip code. So why it is asking plural name is, see here on your tab bar, all the object names are displayed with the plural name. So that is why it is asking for the plural label, right? Okay, so it is asking for the zip code name. So whenever you are creating a object, a default field will be created. If suppose you are creating account object, account name is the default value. If you are creating something else, some vacancies, if you have some vacancies in your organization and you wanted to post those vacancies, for that you need to have a vacancy object. So after creating your vacancy object, a default will be created with vacancy name. So here if you want to change that name, you can change. So what I do here is, I don't want zip code name, I want zip code number. Change it. And what is it? Is it text or auto number? So select a text, and see here there are different options. LO reports. So to analyze the business, we need to create reports. Reports is nothing but having the data of the organization customers, right? So it may be having some forecasts, it may be having some amounts, dealing with the amounts and revenues generated. So all those things. So if you want this object to have reports, then you have to click on this. Okay, so we have something called reports. See, if you go here, right, you can create reports for any object. Okay, so for that what you need to do is, if you check this button, check this checkbox, then you can create reports. And activities. Okay, so activities is nothing but it may be a task or event. Okay, task means something which we need to do before some deadline. We'll be having activities and events. Okay, so event, there may be a meeting, something like that, event. So task may be something like we need to contact the customer before this deadline. So that can be displayed in the tasks. Events means if there is a meeting today, then that meeting will be displayed in the event records. Okay, so track field history. If you check this one, so there are many people working in a organization. So I have created a record and some other user modified the record. Okay, so he modified a field in the object. So I need to track what are the modifications done to the record. For that you need to have this checkbox checked. So if you check this checkbox, then all the modifications happen to that record can be monitored. Okay, so LO in charter groups. You will be coming to know these charter groups in the later sessions. Charter groups is nothing but internal charting. If we have some 1,000 representatives working in our organization, so if at all they wanted to have some internal chart, then we can. Okay, so this is about charter groups. And LO sharing, we will be having access, right, privacy to the data. So if I am working on some customers and a different user is working on different customers, so my customer data should not be visible to that customer. I mean, my customer data should not be visible to that user. Okay, because some organizations, what they do is they give commissions based on sales. If I do more sales, I get more commission. So I need to have privacy to my customer data. The other users should not be able to see all the data of my customers. Okay, so for that we need to have sharing settings. So that will be coming in sharing and security. We will be going to deal that concept separately. Okay, so if you allow sharing, then that record, I mean that object records can be shared to other users. Otherwise we cannot. Okay, and bulk API. So this bulk API is dealing with doing bulk operations on the data. Okay, allow streaming API access. We don't need to worry about this, right? And if you click on in deployment, in development, you cannot see this object on the in the objects list because the object is still under development. Okay, so you need to keep it as deployed. That means this is developed and deployed. Allow search. Let me explain what allow search is. So we have created a record called test with some name I have created just now. Okay, so test record I have created. So there is a search box here. If I click on this, if I search for some keyword test, see there is a record in the account object with the name test. So that is why it is displayed. And in the same way, if one more object is also having the same test, then that record also we can see if and only if that object is having this allow search box checked. If we don't check this one, then whenever we are searching for something in the search, we cannot see these records. Okay, and add notes and attachments. If you wanted to add any notes and attachments to a record, then you need to check this one. And launch new custom tab wizard after saving this custom object. See, in the real time, you will see definitely many objects without a tab. Okay, I have a object called account and there is a tab for it, and all these objects are having tabs, but there will be many objects without having a tab. So if I don't want to create a tab for this, then I don't need to check this one. Just I'll be creating the object and I will be leaving it like that. I can use the object, but you cannot see a tab here. Okay, you cannot see a tab. See, these are all the tabs. Okay, you cannot see it here because you are not creating a tab for it. But if you wanted to create a tab, just click on it and save. It will be taking you to the creating a tab page. Okay, so here you have to create your tab for the object, right? You can see your own style. These are all the different tab styles available. Just select any one. Okay, go next. Right. Okay, so tab visibility, these are all the different profiles again. Okay, so what is the visibility you wanted to have? Do you want to have the visibility to all the profiles? Then make it default on. If you don't want some of the profiles to see this tab, then click on this so that you are able to modify different profiles. Okay, so we have three options: default on, default off, and tab hidden. Okay, right. So I just wanted to have default on to all the profiles. Go next. Right, see here, these are all the custom apps. So where we can see these apps? Go here. Sorry, this one. So this is sales app, call center, marketing, community, and all. Okay, so if you wanted to see all the apps, you can go to setup and there you can see all the apps available. We can see that later, right? So for all these apps, I wanted to have this tab. Okay, you can see here also different tabs. These are all the different tabs. Okay, so the same thing, whatever we can see here are here. Okay, right. Next, just click on save. Yeah, we have created our object. Now see, it is displayed here, zip codes. Okay, so this is how we can create our object, right? And I don't want to see all these things because most of the times I'll be using accounts, leads, contacts, and opportunities, but I won't be using forecast, contracts, and all these things. I don't want to see all this stuff on my tab bar. So for that, you can configure your tab bar. Click on this place and you can see customize my tabs. Click on it and see, these are all the selected tabs. All these selected tabs are displayed on the tab bar. Okay, so see here, we can see campaigns, charter. I don't want this charter. Just click on it and remove it. And forecast, I don't want to see. Remove it. Contracts, orders, I don't want it. Remove. Okay, so I don't need these solutions and products also. Remove. Right now, if we save it, the tab bar is going to be modified. See, all the unnecessary tabs have gone. But if you wanted to see the tabs, you can just click on place and see all the tabs. See, we just removed them, but see, is there any products? Yes, products is there, orders is there. Okay, so all the standard and custom tabs can be displayed here, right? Okay, and go to this object. So we have not created any fields, but by default we can see one field, zip code number. Okay, so we modified it. Actually, by default it is displayed as zip code name, right? So whenever you are creating a tab, by default you can see, okay, right, whenever we are creating a object, by default a name field will be created. Okay, I just changed the name, I made it as number, right? And the owner we cannot edit it. Whoever is using this application, based on that the name will be displayed. Okay, I give my name as Srinu Namani, that is why Srinu Namani is displayed here. So just give one number and save it. Right, the record is saved. Okay, so see here, notes and attachments. We check the option to have notes and attachments. So that is why we are able to see this one. And open activities. You can create a task or a event. So if you click on task, right, what task you are going to have. So what is the subject? Call. Due date. Okay, so before 17th I should make a call. Okay, status not started. Contact, give some contact. Okay, if you, this is a lookup, if you click on this, all the contacts list will be displayed, right? So we don't have any contacts created, so that is why it is not showing here. Let me create one contact so that we can see the contacts here. Click on save. Okay, so now come here, and I guess we need to refresh it, but let me check. Yes, my contact, right? Okay, now click on save. Right, see here, you can see one open activity. Okay, so this is a task, and in the same way, if you click on new event, see the subject here, meeting. I have a meeting. Okay, so with whom? With this person, right? So start time, end time. You can give the start and end times. Okay, and if you want to notify the user with the mail, then you can, but we don't have proper email address in the context, so that is why you cannot. Reminder 15 minutes before I wanted to send any reminder. Click on save. Okay, so we have created a meeting and a call. Okay, so this is a task and event. Okay, right. Next, activity history. So what are the modifications we have done and all these things we can see. And notes and attachments. If you want to attach any file, you can attach. Okay, so these are the basic things of creating a field and creating a object and its tab. Okay, so we'll discuss some more concepts tomorrow. So any notes? So every day I'll be sharing the tutorial, because